Hayley Mills, a beloved Disney icon and one of the most famous child stars of all time. From her breakout role in Pollyanna to her unforgettable performance as the mischievous twins in The Parent Trap, she became a household name. But behind the charming smile and golden-haired innocence, Mills faced scandals, personal struggles, and a devastating health battle that nearly took everything from her. Today we uncover what really happened to Hayley Mills, the untold story of her rise, fall, and ultimate fight for survival. Hayley Catherine Rose. Vivian Mills was born on April 18, 1946 in Marylebone, London, into a family that was already well established in the entertainment world. Her father, Sir John Mills, was one of Britain's most distinguished actors, known for his extensive work in film and theater. Her mother, Mary Hayley Bell, was not only an actress, but also a playwright and novelist, best known for writing Whistle Down the Wind, which was later adapted into a successful film. Growing up in a household where storytelling and performance were a way of life, Mills was surrounded by creativity from an early age. She was not the only one in her family to pursue a career in the arts. Her older sister, Juliet Mills, followed in their parents' footsteps, becoming a well-known actress in her own right, while her younger brother, Jonathan Mills, ventured into writing and producing. With such a rich artistic heritage, it seemed only natural that Hayley would eventually find her way into acting. However, her path to stardom was not something meticulously planned. It happened almost by chance. At just 12 years old, Mills landed her first major film role in Tiger Bay, 1959, a project that changed the course of her life. Interestingly, the film's director, J. Lee Thompson, had originally been searching for a young boy to play the lead role. However, when he met Mills, he was struck by her screen presence and instinctive talent. Convinced that she was perfect for the part, he decided to cast her instead, making a last-minute change to the character's gender. The film, which also starred her father, John Mills, became a major success in Britain, earning praise for its gripping storyline and the exceptional performances of its cast. For Hayley, it was an unforgettable experience. Not only did she get to share the screen with her father, but she also made an impressive debut that captured the attention of audiences and critics alike. Her natural acting ability and expressive charm set her apart, and before long, Hollywood came calling. What had started as an unexpected opportunity quickly turned into the beginning of a remarkable career, one that would soon make her one of the most beloved child stars of her generation. Hayley Mills' performance in Tiger Bay caught the attention of Bill Anderson, one of Walt Disney's top producers. Impressed by her natural acting ability and charm, he recommended her for the lead role in Pollyanna, 1960. The film, based on the beloved novel, centered around a cheerful orphan who moves in with her strict aunt and transforms the lives of those around her with her unwavering optimism. Mills's portrayal of the glad girl won over audiences and catapulted her to international fame, especially in the United States. Her performance was so well received that she was awarded a Juvenile Academy Award, making her the last recipient of the special Oscar category for young actors. Since she was unable to attend the ceremony, fellow Disney star Annette Funicello accepted the award on her behalf. Following the massive success of Pollyanna, Disney cast Mills in another starring role, this time playing identical twins, Sharon and Susan, in The Parent Trap, 1961. The film told the story of two sisters, separated at birth, who meet at summer camp and conspire to reunite their divorced parents. Mills delivered a standout dual performance, seamlessly playing both roles with distinct personalities. One of the most memorable moments in the film was her duet with herself, singing "Let's Get Together," which became a hit worldwide, reaching number 1, 8 on the U.S. Billboard charts. Amid her rising Hollywood fame, Mills received an opportunity to return to British cinema with Whistle Down the Wind, 1961, a film adaptation of her mother, Mary Haley Bell's novel. Directed by Brian Forbes, the film followed a group of children who mistakenly believe an escaped convict is Jesus Christ. The touching and thought-provoking story resonated deeply with British audiences, becoming a major box office success. Mills's performance was widely praised, and she was voted Britain's biggest star of 1961, a remarkable achievement for someone still in her teens. Around this time, Stanley Kubrick approached Mills with an offer to play the controversial title role in Lolita, 1962, a film adaptation of Vladimir Nabokov's novel. However, her father, John Mills, turned the offer down, believing the role was too provocative for his young daughter. Reflecting on the missed opportunity, Mills later admitted, "I wish I had done it. It was a smashing film." Despite this, she continued to thrive in family-friendly films and returned to Disney for the adventure film In Search of the Castaways, 1962, based on Jules Verne's novel. The movie, which followed a thrilling journey to rescue a shipwrecked father, was another major hit. Mills's popularity continued to soar, and she was voted the 5th biggest star in the country for the next 2 years. In 1963, Disney announced plans to adapt Dodie Smith's novel I Capture the Castle, with Hayley Mills set to star as Cassandra Mortmain. However, the project never materialized. Creative differences between Smith and screenwriter Sally Benson led to complications, and by the time Disney considered reviving the adaptation, Mills had outgrown the role. Although the film was never made, Disney retained the rights to the novel for years before it was eventually adapted in 2003 without Mills's involvement. That same year, Mills starred in her 4th Disney film, Summer Magic, 1963, a musical adaptation of Mother Carey's Chickens. While it didn't achieve the same level of success as her previous Disney films, it still performed well at the box office and allowed Mills to showcase her singing talents once again. Stepping outside of her usual Disney roles, she then took on a more dramatic part in the British-American production The Chalk Garden, 1964. Produced by Ross Hunter, the film featured Mills as a rebellious teenager who constantly torments her governess, played by Deborah Kerr. Returning to Disney, she took on a more adventurous role in The Moonspinners, 1964, a suspenseful film about jewel thieves in Greece. The film also marked a personal milestone for Mills, as it featured her first on-screen kiss with co-star Peter McInerney. While The Moonspinners was well received, her next project was a major departure from her usual family-friendly fare. In 1965, she starred in Sky West and Crooked, a film that explored the world of gypsies and outsiders. The project was deeply personal for Mills. Her mother, Mary Haley Bell, wrote the screenplay, and her father, Sir John Mills, directed it. Despite their best efforts, the film struggled commercially and failed to find a wide audience. However, Mills quickly bounced back with That Darn Cat, 1965, her final film with Disney. The light-hearted comedy, which followed a mischievous cat that helps solve a kidnapping case, became a major box office hit, proving that Mills still had strong appeal with audiences. During her 6-year run with Disney, Mills became the most beloved child star of the era. Critics often pointed out the irony that America's favorite young actress was, in fact, British, and a rather refined one at that. Her popularity extended beyond film, particularly with the success of her song Let's Get Together from the Parent Trap, which became a global hit. The track reached number 1, 8 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 17 in Britain, and even climbed to number 1 in Mexico. Capitalizing on her musical success, Disney's Buena Vista label released a full album, Let's Get Together with Hayley Mills, which featured her only other charting single, Johnny Jingo, which peaked at number 21 on the Billboard charts in 1962. By the early 1960s, Mills had firmly established herself as Britain's biggest movie star. In 1962, British exhibitors even voted her the most popular film actress in the country, a rare achievement for someone so young. However, as she approached adulthood, it became clear that she would have to transition beyond the wholesome Disney image that had defined her early years. The next phase of her career would prove to be both exciting and challenging as she navigated the shift from child star to adult actress. In her memoir, Forever Young, Hayley Mills reflects on the highs and lows of her early career, offering a candid look at both her successes and personal struggles. While she was one of the most beloved child stars of her time, she also battled self-esteem issues and an eating disorder, challenges that were largely hidden behind her polished public image. Mills also revealed the difficult choices she faced in shaping her career. Determined to protect the wholesome Disney image she had built, she turned down roles that might have clashed with that persona, including Dr. Dolittle and Stanley Kubrick's Lolita. Looking back, she admitted that while she was incredibly grateful for the opportunities Walt Disney had given her, being under contract with the studio also came with limitations. She wrote, "I think by being under contract to Walt Disney, as much as I really appreciated the opportunity it gave me, and the career it gave me, quite frankly, it hampered me from getting more different kinds of roles. And eventually it also influenced how I felt about myself. I wasn't sure what I was capable of." Ultimately, by the time she was 20 years old, Mills made a bold decision. She turned down a new contract with Disney. She felt that the roles being offered to her had become repetitive, and she wanted the freedom to explore different kinds of characters beyond the cheerful, innocent girls she had so often portrayed. However, leaving Disney wasn't the only challenge she faced. At 21, she suffered a devastating financial setback when she lost most of her Disney fortune due to a 90% tax rate imposed by Inland Revenue in England. Despite her efforts to appeal the decision, she was unsuccessful, and the financial loss was a harsh reality check. During this difficult period, Mills couldn't help but draw comparisons between herself and Judy Garland, another child star who had famously struggled with being controlled by the studio system. She worried about becoming just another studio asset, trapped by the very machine that had made her famous. In 1965, she starred in The Truth About Spring, a light-hearted adventure film produced by Universal Pictures. The movie reunited her with her father, Sir John Mills, and also featured James MacArthur, a familiar face from Disney films, as her love interest. While the film was only mildly successful, it allowed Mills to transition into more grown-up roles while still maintaining the charm that had made her famous. Her next film, however, was a massive success. In 1966, she starred in The Trouble with Angels, a comedy about mischievous Catholic schoolgirls who constantly outwit their strict headmistress. Mills played the rebellious yet clever Mary Clancy, a role that allowed her to showcase both her comedic timing and her knack for playing spirited, independent young women. Starring alongside Rosalind Russell and directed by Hollywood veteran Ida Lupino, the film became a major hit. That same year, Mills also lent her voice to the Little Mermaid in the animated film The Daydreamer, further showcasing her versatility. Shortly after The Truth About Spring, Mills took on a more daring role in The Family Way, 1966, directed by Roy Bolting. The critically acclaimed film followed a newlywed couple struggling to consummate their marriage, a far cry from the wholesome roles Mills had played in the past. The movie gained attention not only for its mature themes, but also for its musical score, composed by Paul McCartney with arrangements by Beatles producer George Martin. During the filming, Mills began a romantic relationship with Boulting, who was 32 years her senior. Their relationship sparked media interest, and despite the significant age gap, the two eventually married in 1971. Eager to expand her horizons, Mills took on international projects. In 1967, she starred in Pretty Polly, a film set in Singapore where she played a young woman discovering independence while traveling. Her co-star was Shashi Kapoor, one of India's most famous actors, making the film a unique collaboration between Western and Indian cinema. Mills then reunited with Roy Boulting for Twisted Nerve, 1968, a psychological thriller co-starring Hywel Bennett, her Family Way co-star. The film was controversial due to its unsettling depiction of mental illness, but demonstrated Mills's willingness to take on darker, more complex roles. She followed this with the 1970 romantic comedy Take a Girl Like You, where she starred opposite Oliver Reed and also made her West End debut in a stage production of The Wild Duck, marking her official transition into theater. Continuing her collaboration with Boulting, she starred in Mr. Forbush and the Penguins, 1971, replacing the original female lead in a story about a scientist studying penguins in Antarctica. That same year, she returned to psychological thrillers with Endless Night, 1972, based on Agatha Christie's novel. The film, in which she starred alongside Hywel Bennett, Britt Eklund, Per Oscarsson, and George Sanders, further distanced her from her Disney past, proving her ability to handle darker and more sophisticated material. In the mid-1970s, Mills worked with director Sidney Hayers, starring in the adventure comedy What Changed Charlie Farthing, 1974, and the suspense thriller Deadly Strangers, 1975. After starring in The Kingfisher Caper, 1975, a heist film co-written by Boulting, she took a step back from the film industry, retreating from the public eye for several years. Following a period away from the spotlight, Hayley Mills made a notable return to acting in 1981, securing the lead role in the British television miniseries The Flame Trees of Thika. This production, adapted from Elspeth Huxley's evocative memoir of her childhood experiences in colonial East Africa, garnered considerable acclaim. The positive reception of The Flame Trees of Thika reignited Mills's passion for acting and paved the way for her involvement in a wider range of projects. Subsequently, she journeyed back to the United States, where she made guest appearances on the popular television series The Love Boat on 2 occasions in 1985. The following year, in 1986, she further demonstrated her versatility with a role in an episode of the acclaimed mystery series Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. Hayley Mills maintained a strong and enduring relationship with the Walt Disney Company throughout her career. Her connection with Disney was further solidified when she narrated an episode of the long-running anthology series, The Wonderful World of Disney. This narration served to remind audiences of her earlier iconic Disney roles and sparked renewed interest in her contributions to the studio's films. In 1985, Mills was initially under consideration to provide the voice of the character Princess Eilonwy in Disney's animated feature film, The Black Cauldron. However, despite this initial interest, the role ultimately went to Susan Sheridan, a seasoned British voice actress. Despite missing out on The Black Cauldron, Mills continued her association with the beloved Parent Trap franchise. She reprised her dual roles as the twins, Sharon and Susan, in 3 made-for-television movies: The Parent Trap 2, 1886, Parent Trap 30, 1889, and Parent Trap, Hawaiian Honeymoon, 1889. In 1987, Mills took on the starring role in Good Morning Miss Bliss, a television series produced for the Disney Channel. Although the show was canceled after just 13 episodes, it later found new life when NBC acquired the rights and significantly reworked the concept, transforming it into the hugely successful teen sitcom Saved by the Bell. Unfortunately for Mills, she was not involved in this later iteration. Finally, in recognition of her significant and lasting contributions to the Walt Disney Company and its legacy, Hayley Mills was honored with the prestigious Disney Legends Award in 1998, cementing her place in Disney history. Hayley Mills provided a more personal glimpse into her early life in the 2000 documentary Sir John Mills's Moving Memories. This film, directed by Marcus Dillistone and produced by her brother, Jonathan Mills, offered insights into her childhood experiences and family dynamics, likely enriching public understanding of her background and influences. In 2005, she showcased her versatility by taking on a role in the critically acclaimed short film Stricken, written and directed by Jace Bartok. This project, being a short film, likely allowed her to explore a different type of storytelling and character development within a more concise format. From 2007 to 2012, Mills held a prominent role as Caroline in the ITV one-drama series Wild at Heart. This series, set against the backdrop of a South African game reserve, centered around a British veterinarian and his family. The long-running nature of the series allowed Mills to develop her character over several seasons and likely resonated with audiences interested in both animal welfare and family drama. A particular highlight for fans was the guest appearance of her sister, Juliet Mills, on the show. This marked the first time the two sisters had shared the screen in an acting capacity, adding a unique and personal dimension to the series. Continuing her diverse career, Mills appeared in Mandy and the Cherokee Treasure in 2010. This film, based on one of Lois Gladys Leopard's popular Mandy novels, likely appealed to a family audience and those familiar with the book series. In 2011, she starred alongside Toni Collette in the film Foster. This film, exploring themes of family and connection, provided Mills with the opportunity to work with a highly respected actress and delve into a more emotionally complex narrative. In 2014, Mills demonstrated her range by making guest appearances on episodes of two popular British television series, Midsummer Murders, known for its intricate mysteries, and Moving On, an anthology series dealing with contemporary social issues. In 2019, Mills took on a role in the television series Pitching In. Set in a holiday park in Wales, this series likely offered a lighter, more comedic tone compared to some of her previous work. In 2021, she played Michael Sheen's mother in the festive film Last Train to Christmas, a role that likely allowed her to explore a different dynamic and contribute to a holiday-themed production. The following year, in 2022, Mills had a recurring role in the television thriller series Compulsion, suggesting a return to more dramatic territory. In February 2023, audiences saw Mills as Lady Emma Hume in the 5th series of the acclaimed ITV crime drama Unforgotten. This role likely placed her within a complex narrative involving past crimes and their present-day repercussions. Most recently, in September 2023, Mills appeared in an episode of the fantasy series The Wheel of Time, demonstrating her continued willingness to explore diverse genres and reach new audiences. Hayley Mills's stage debut occurred in 1969 in a West End revival of the classic children's story Peter Pan. This early experience likely provided her with valuable training in live performance and stagecraft. Years later, in 1991, Mills took on the challenging and iconic role of Anna Leonowens in an Australian production of the beloved musical The King and I. This marked a significant step in her stage career, showcasing her ability to handle a demanding dramatic and musical role. She further solidified her connection with this character when she reprised the role of Anna in the 1997 U.S. national tour of Rodgers and Hammerstein's The King and I, bringing her interpretation of the character to audiences across the United States. In 2000, Mills made her off-Broadway debut, appearing in Sir Noel Coward's sophisticated comedy suite in Two Keys. Starring opposite the acclaimed American actress Judith Ivey, Mills's performance in this production garnered critical acclaim and earned her a prestigious Theatre World Award, recognizing her significant contribution to the off-Broadway season. The following year, in 2001, she showcased her musical talents once again, starring as Desiree Armfeldt in a Seattle production of Stephen Sondheim's poignant musical, A Little Night Music. This production, a collaborative effort between a contemporary theater and the Fifth Avenue Theater, likely allowed Mills to explore the complexities of Sondheim's music and lyrics and further establish her range as a musical theater performer. In December 2007, the Noel Coward Society recognized Mills's appreciation for and connection to the work of Sir Noel Coward by inviting her as their guest celebrity for their annual birthday celebration of the Master. As part of the festivities, she laid flowers in front of Coward's statue at New York's Gershwin Theater, commemorating the 108th anniversary of his birth. In 2012, Mills returned to the stage in a different capacity, taking on the role of Ursula Whittington in the stage adaptation of the popular film Ladies in Lavender. This production, staged at the Royal and Derngate Theatre, was followed by a national UK tour, bringing the play and Mills's performance to a wider audience. In 2015, she embarked on a unique theatrical endeavor, touring Australia with her sister Juliet Mills and Juliet's husband Maxwell Caulfield in The Comedy Legends by James Kirkwood. This production, which likely played on the dynamic between the three performers, offered audiences a chance to see the Mills sisters share the stage in a lighthearted and entertaining context. Most recently, in 2018, Hayley Mills starred in the off-Broadway production of Isabel Mann's Party Face at City Center, further demonstrating her commitment to live theater and her willingness to engage with contemporary works. Her first marriage was to film director Roy Bolting, a man significantly older than her. They met in 1966 on the set of The Family Way, a film he directed when she was just 20 years old, and he was 53. Their age difference was notable, and their relationship became a subject of public interest. They eventually married in 1971 and established a life together, dividing their time between a flat in the fashionable Chelsea area of London and a more rural retreat at Cobstone Windmill in Ibstone, Buckinghamshire. The windmill, a picturesque property, later became a well-known landmark and was eventually sold. Their son, Crispian Mills, inherited his father's creative talents and became a successful musician, known as the lead singer and guitarist for the raga-influenced rock band Kula Shaker. Hayley and Roy's marriage ultimately ended in divorce in 1977. During a subsequent relationship with actor Lee Lawson, Hayley Mills welcomed her second son, Jason Lawson, in July 1976. This relationship, too, eventually ended in the early 1980s. Following her separation from Lawson, Mills embarked on a period of personal exploration, developing an interest in a range of Eastern religions. This spiritual quest led her to a deeper understanding of different philosophies and practices. While not a follower of the Hare Krishna movement herself, she contributed to their culinary outreach by writing the preface to the Hare Krishna book of vegetarian cooking, which was published in 1984. This involvement suggests an interest in the dietary and lifestyle aspects associated with some Eastern traditions. Further demonstrating her intellectual curiosity, Mills co-edited the book My God, Letters from the Famous on God and the Life Hereafter with Marcus McLean. Published in 1988, this book explored the spiritual beliefs and reflections of various prominent individuals, showcasing Mills's own engagement with questions of faith and the afterlife. Since 1997, Hayley Mills has been in a committed relationship with actor and writer Firdaus Bamji. Their connection began during a professional collaboration when they toured together in a production of The King and I, where they played the lead roles of Anna and the King. Their shared experience on stage likely fostered a close bond, which blossomed into a romantic partnership. The fact that Bamji is 20 years her junior has, as with her first marriage, drawn some attention, but their relationship has proven to be enduring. As of now, they remain partners, demonstrating the strength and longevity of their connection. In April 2008, Hayley Mills received a diagnosis of breast cancer. She underwent surgery and began chemotherapy, but after only 3 sessions, she had to stop due to the severe side effects. She has since credited her recovery to alternative treatments she pursued. In an interview with Good Housekeeping magazine in January 2012, she announced that she had made a full recovery. Looking back on her life and career, Mills published a memoir, Forever Young, a memoir, in September 2021. Hayley Mills's journey from child stardom to Hollywood survivor has been nothing short of extraordinary. She endured scandal, heartbreak, and a life-threatening illness, but through it all, she remained resilient and determined to carve her own path. Now cancer-free and still active in the industry, she continues to inspire fans worldwide. What's your favorite Hayley Mills performance? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more untold Hollywood stories.